Hello and welcome to Coco Melon.
Not Coco Melon. When did we change? Are we Gracie's Corner now?
We're Dicey's Bob.
Yeah.
We're Coco Melon. We're Gracie's Corner. We're Doc McStuffins. We are having a good time. It's me, Kaya. It's her, Nneya. It's Aaron. It's Blue. And we have got so much to talk about. The first thing that we want to do is welcome you. And I want to just personally thank you because you've been riding with us. Come on, like I can't even remember like when you started messaging us, talking back to us. Like it didn't feel like we were just like talking to the void. It felt like we finally found the person that we were looking for. And when you finally started responding, we looked at your profile and we were like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. How does she even like listen to us? You're in Italy, you're in Paris, you're in America, you are in Georgia, Florida, like every
Literally
ultimate influencer. You influence me. You are just such a darling. You're so beautiful. You have such a beautiful life and a beautiful baby. We've been with you on your journey from just a girly to now a mom girly, and we are so proud to finally have you on the show. Thank you.
I'm not sorry.
Exactly. Oh, thank you. That was the sweetest introduction. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I don't remember when I started listening. It was near the beginning, and I'm obsessed with you guys. You're like a member of the family. You have been with me everywhere on so many plane rides, on so many places, especially in Italy, because it feels like some fun Black Americans in my house there. So it's really, so you guys feel like family.
Guys, she literally messages us and is like, I was playing your episode when I was X, Y, and Z. And then when your baby was born, you're like, I was playing your episode. And I'm like, good thing that she doesn't speak too much English right now. But I want her to know her aunt and uncle.
But you guys are not bad. The only time when she was in newborn and I was in the hospital, the only thing that I had put on earmuffs to, or like my headphones, was the Vanderpump Rules reunion. Then I was, this is too much for a baby. That's like one of the few things that I was like, oh, I don't think she needs to hear all this, right?
In the words of Dr. Heavenly, I apologize.
I apologize.
Well, okay, so first of all, if you don't already follow her, you need to. It's simply at Nneya. And I believe you are the ultimate it girl. Like you are Emily in Paris before Emily was in Paris. So y'all need to be following her for travel tips and fashion tips. And I always see like your guest spots when you work with other brands. And I'm very into like commenting and liking that because y'all don't understand engagement is like #1 on social media. You are my social media queen, my fashion queen, and all that. But the other thing that we absolutely love about you is your love for TV, in addition for your love for traveling, in addition to your love for fashion, and in addition for your love for your man. Tell us, like, where are you calling in from right now? Like, where are you located right now?
Right now, we are in Brooklyn. We're here until early December. We're going to go back to Italy for the holidays, for her first holidays over there. But we are calling in from Brooklyn and where I am from. So we're happy to be here. And I was so happy to be in the States. Yes.
Okay. I want to know, too, what is it like traveling? Because you do it consistently, like traveling from the Brooklyn area to the Italy area.
Like the plane ride, I've gotten used to it. Like if a plane ride is under 5 hours, it's like too short for me because I can't get a nap and a good show in. Like I like to be able to do both. And I fly a lot of Delta, and Delta has the hit. Delta has the show. So it's pretty, I'm like used to the travel. And it's always grasped. When I'm in Brooklyn, I miss Italy. When I'm in Italy, I miss Brooklyn. So it's kind of like we get the best of both worlds.
So you are literally by country. What is that called when when you live in two countries?
Like bi-Atlantic, I like to call it.
Bi-Atlantic. That's so iconic that I didn't even know the word.
I just made that up. I don't know if something like Verlie would say. Bi-Atlantic.
It sounds better than
It sounds like treatment. Yeah, it sounds right. So I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah, so we're bi-Atlantic.
we have our friend here, our cousin here for a short time. But we want to let you guys know that now that we finally set it up, now that we're on a new network, now that we on YouTube, that we will be having her back multiple times. So don't worry if this just seems free. We want to check in and say hello. Okay, so how did you even get into being, I call you a travel influencer. Obviously, you're a little bit of everything, but how did you get into influencing?
Oh, I got into influencing through my travel writing, actually. So back in the day, I was like, I guess what you would call a taste maker. That's like dates myself. That's what they used to call them. And I helped start Teen Vogue magazine. I was a founding contributor of it when I was in high school. So I was like, when you would read the magazines and they would be like, my friends love shopping vintage, and Nneya from Brooklyn said, I would be the person like sourcing the girls, things like that. And during school breaks, after school, I would go to the Condé Nast offices and I was like, hey, I don't have a job, but can I intern here? And that was pretty awesome. And it was kind of, I think I was in college when The Hills was starting and all of that stuff, when it started to really pop off. What was it? Laguna Beach before then. So yeah, that's when I was like, okay, this is cool. Maybe I want to work in fashion, see what it is. But every job I took, I knew that I was taking the job because I love traveling. Like I started working at Topshop and my boss was like, oh, we're opening X, Y, and Z in Brazil. And I was like, oh, I can learn Portuguese. I realized like I was taking these fashion jobs because I like to travel and I've always liked writing. So I got into travel writing through a friend asking me, would I be willing to write an article on a place that I would go to a lot in Mexico? One travel job led to the other, and I started to write for these big travel publications. But on the travel trips, I often found, on these press trips, I found I was the only one that looked like me. And especially, I found it, one of like the places that it stood out was like, I think when I was going to Jamaica, my family's from Jamaica. And whenever we would go to the West Indies, I was like, it's a lot of old white men telling the stories of brown and Black people. And it was really interesting because I was writing these articles as well. But if you picked up Condé Nast Traveler, you might not know. And it was when social media was popping off, Instagram was starting to be a thing. And I started to just put online where I was and that I was the person who wrote the articles. And people started to reach out to me because like from studying, I think kids studying abroad, that was one of the first people that I was like, oh, okay, this is something. When they're like, is it safe for my daughter to study abroad in Italy? Did you deal with any racism there? Things like that. And I realized the power of the people seeing that I was a Black woman writing these stories and telling these stories. And I thought it was a really cool way to share like the people, the communities that I love and that I'm passionate about and have that perspective of it, because still travel is pretty old school and traditional, and it's something that's so important now. And so that's kind of the roundabout way of how I got started and why I really like social media, that I'll still do both. But when you're on the trip with old school journalists, they can be like really bougie and look down on influencing. And I'm like, no, you're the problem, because
this is the future.
And you're not trying to connect with people that are actually traveling. And it's cool because a lot of tourism boards and travel brands are starting to see that and realize that. And they really like that immediate connection with their audience. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I got into it.
That is amazing. Like you got in on the ground floor when it comes to that era of, writing meet social media, which is amazing. You covered multiple things that I was going to ask you about, being a Black woman in travel already, like, because you're obviously used to explaining everything like you did so perfectly. I want to ask you one question. Is like, what would you say to people? And I would say even us. Like, we were hesitant to BravoCon. I went by myself the first time, and the second time we went all the way. And then that was huge for us to go from, because we're in South Florida, to go from South Florida to Vegas as two people who don't travel a lot, who don't go on an airplane, who are Black. I can't even imagine thinking about going transatlantic to just another country in general. Like, what would you say to Black people about that are nervous to really travel to different countries?
I think it's just as in, I understand being nervous, and I would never say like, don't be nervous, because there's a lot of anti-Blackness and racism there. The things I do like to say, especially to Black Americans, is like, we're from America, whereas it's just kind of the boldest it's gonna get in a lot of that sense. Yes. Carter, who knows? Light skin Tuesday. It's always hanging up. It's always the thing with microaggressions, things like that. But I still have those fears. Like, I'm writing about a trip that I took to Mississippi, and I took it with my white girlfriend, and I was not really sure about traveling to Mississippi as a Black woman. I'm a Black woman from the North. I just wasn't really sure about that. And then it reminds me that me thinking that discounts all like the Black stories that are there, and the progress and the imprint that Black people have made there. And so, when I was going to Mississippi, like most of the people that said, why are you going there? We're Black people. And it's like, well, we're there, and Black people there run tourism outlets, they run hotels. There's thriving Black communities there. And so that perception cuts off. And like, I like to say, we're out there in Italy. There are Black Italians, there are Black French people. And like, I think it's a welcoming community too, that when we find us, when we're traveling, it's like, hey, cousin. And so that's really cool too, to be able to connect with that.
That always happens no matter where you go. When you do spot another Black person, there's kind of like that unwritten understanding and acknowledgement. So that is so dope to know that it goes, both ways.
And I think that's what's so great about social media too, because a lot of the time we do not know about these people, like in Italy and Mississippi.
Right.
Because I'm just going, a lot of my opinions are based off of what my mom tells me. So if I'm going to Mississippi or something,
it's like
no, there.
Exactly. And I totally agree with you. And it's just, and it's such a shame. And so that's why I love social media, because you can just check it out. And also why I love reality shows, because I was like, I'm going to Mississippi, let me watch some Bell Collective.
Right. Exactly. I've watched every Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was in Vegas when we were in Vegas. So I was like, let me rewatch this episode of Beverly Hills. Or like when they take a trip overseas, I'm like, oh, okay. I know the housewives are obviously, they have a little level of protection, but at the end, these are 7 Black women in an international country with cameras around them, which makes them even more of a target. So if they can do it, then we can do it. So Black people, just go, okay? Obviously, protect yourself as well as you can, but go.
I don't know if you watch Basketball Wives, but wasn't it in Amsterdam when Malaysia threw that table at Jennifer?
It was.
And nobody said a thing.
Because do you want a table thrown at you, man? Like,
I also want to know too, because it was on my mind, like when you said Teen Vogue, did y'all cover like that High School Musical Disney Channel era with like Ashley Tisdale and the red carpet and like the clothes that didn't really make sense?
Right. It still influences a lot of my, like, I'll still do a t-shirt and a bustier. Why? Because I'm a Teen Vogue girl.
It makes sense now. And at the time, I'm like, what is this? Like, why do you look like she just woke up?
It was fashion forward.
They were ahead of their time.
They were.
These things. It was a lot. But yeah, it was. And like those such long tank tops.
Right? Like, where do you even find those?
They're just so long. There's so many. Like Leisha Barton was that girl back in the day, and so and even like seeing that faces, it was me in New York, and then there was a woman in LA, Jazzy, and we were like, and we were the black girls of Teen Vogue on each coast, and so I was in these spaces that I was like, I'm the only black person in this room, from a young age, and it's kind of like I thought, well, what am I going to do with this? And how am I? And like, I really only saw like a Naomi Campbell and who was vocal in magazines to look up to in the fashion industry. And so like so much of that has changed. There's so many amazing women editor-in-chiefs in the fashion industry, and men. And like, I'm so happy that's finally changed because it took a while too.
Yeah. So I always ask people who are in the fashion industry, do you love or do you hate 13 going on 30?
The movie?
Yeah.
Hey, what was
So how did you feel about just like this little girl? She was 13. She wanted to be 30 so bad. And then now, even every time one of my friends turns 30, and when I turn 30, it's going to be 30, flirty, and thriving. Like, I'm going to work
right?
I don't know how, but I'm going to work at a magazine. I'm going to be 30. I'm going to be flirty. I'm going to be thriving.
Yeah.
And it just gives you this sense of, I'm just a girl in New York working for a magazine, trying to change the world one Louboutin at a time. How do you feel about 13 going on 30?
That's true. I didn't even think about that. And I actually find it more relatable than like, say, a Devil Wears Prada.
Right.
Right, actually. You're totally right. I never even thought about that movie in that sense.
I know that everyone quotes Devil Wears Prada and like,
yeah,
they use it as the like magazine movie. But me, I'm like, this is a little bit much. Like,
yeah.
a girl working at like Cosmo is realistic to me.
A good one for that is her name was Andy in the movie. Kate.
What was it? Was it like 10?
Yeah, Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a cool, realistic experience of working at a Cosmo.
Okay.
So I also like 13 going on 30. I never really thought about that, but you're right. Yes. I have to rewatch that.
I love magazine movies. I'll name them.
Yes. And there's like even the shows like the Ugly Betty of it all.
They just never know what to do with a woman that's successful. So they're like, she works at a magazine.
Exactly.
Sex in the City. She works, she's a writer and she works at a magazine.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, that's why I was like, okay, so I guess if I live long enough, I will be 30 and I will work at a magazine and my life will be fabulous.
But Carrie was irresponsible. Like,
Carrie was horrible. She was terrible. She's the worst of the fool.
She was terrible with money. Like, I'm like, you need to pay rent. Like, you buy.
She was like, sometimes I would buy Vogue because I feel like it fed me more than food. Like, girl, if you don't
like, you better go eat a meal.
Shut up and have some bread. Yeah. Okay, so I do want to get in really quickly. Like, what are you watching right now? This is not the Bravo episode. We'll have you back for a Bravo. Okay, because we got to get into it.
Yeah.
But what are you watching right now that you love? I know you told me, and then this is everyone that I know, even the Black people. They're like, we're watching The Gilded Age. I have not started it.
Love The Gilded Age, and then my mom was not interested in The Gilded Age, and then she walks past, she sees Black characters, and then suddenly she
it's the hand on the hip looking at the TV like, okay.
Yeah, so then she's like, all right, let's see. So I'm loving The Gilded Age right now. Blue, what else are we watching?
Blue, yeah.
Watch all the things. So we watch all the things. Like, she's really into Stanley Tucci's Italy, so we've been rewatching that. The Crown is back now, so I'm about to binge that like over Thanksgiving weekend.
That's such a perfect like Thanksgiving watch too.
Right. And I didn't love the last season. Do you guys watch it?
I don't watch it, but I keep up with it because I want to know when Diana comes, and Diana's
exactly.
Diana is here. But last season she was here. I didn't love it. I think it's because it's hitting a little bit too, like, I mean, I don't really remember her from when I was a kid, but it's hitting too close to home, like, to current events. And I watch, like, all those Diana documentaries.
Yeah.
So I'm loving that. I'll watch, like, I wouldn't watch most reality show. Like, I don't love dancing shows. I'm not a big dancing or dating person.
Not dating?
Not really dating. Like, I don't love a Love Island. Like, I'll watch, like, 2 episodes, but yeah, for some reason, it doesn't hold it for me. I started this past weekend, Basketball Wives Orlando, because I am an Evelyn Lozada fangirl.
Oh, you're Team Evelyn.
As a New Yorker, like, she is that girl to me, and I just can't quit her. Just can't quit her.
No, that's fair.
Even when she's in the wrong, it's her hoop earrings, it's her Timbs. Like, she's just that girlfriend. So I'm Team Evelyn. Not really when she's fighting. I just like, it's kind of like how I'm like a tree hugger, and I know that she's wrong.
That's fair.
No, it's fine.
I get it. Yeah,
like, you're a tree hugger too, Aaron, and you're like, I got all advice for my girl Tree. Well, the way she loves her daughters, you can't give her daughters.
Yeah, she'll do anything for them, and I admire that.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, like, I'll try most shows. Like, when I was in labor, I was having my husband tell me the plot of Yellowstone because I was there watching it, and he was watching it in the hospital room.
It was so bad because, yeah, when it was live, it was so bad. That last part was so bad. I was so mad because I'm like, Aaron, I'm covering Yellowstone on Bravo We're Black. I don't care. Like, you're going to start watching it. It's going to be so good. I watched a few episodes of it, and I wanted to cry because I don't know what happened.
Oh,
it started
about that.
Terrible. I was so embarrassed, bro.
Right.
But I'll admit too, I didn't watch the regular one. I tried to watch the one.
Oh, like
from
18.
Yeah, 18. I want to say it was that one. And there were some episodes where I paid attention.
Yeah.
But I think once I got to like the third, I was just like knocked out, like hard down snoring. And I woke up and I'm like, shit, like, where did the time go?
And the thing about wherever Yellowstone like streams, they will literally just keep streaming. Like, they won't stop and ask you if you're watching it or not.
I'm gonna say it was Peacock for the regular, and then for the one that we were just talking about, that's Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, I roll those ads, bitch.
That's Paramount Plus. You're right. And then something that I watched like 3 times recently is the show Deadlock on Amazon Prime. A friend recommended it, and it's amazing. It's like this New Zealand cop drama murder mystery. And my friend that recommended it, she thinks Amazon recommended it to her because it was under Black Stories. And it was showing the indigenous New Zealand population. They're Black, and there was this like woman, and she looks like maybe she's indigenous, maybe she's not. And she's like, well, you guys are rude to me because I'm a Black woman. And she's a Black woman. Interesting. So, but it really hooked you in. Yeah, it hooked me in. It was a really cool show, and I definitely recommend it. It's really funny, and it's witty, and it's like a group, it's like a queer community in this town versus this old fishing community. It is really good. So I definitely recommend that. I'm
collecting stuff for, like you said, Thanksgiving weekend. So that is good to know. But before we quickly like wrap up your session, we do want to know, Blue, like, what are you watching?
She's watching a Coco Melon. What else are you watching?
Miss Rachel, is she good with Miss Rachel?
She slowly turned her head around.
She does not like.
Not at all. She was like, no.
She's like, I'm done. No work.
She's like something in the milk ain't clean, literally.
What about Married to Medicine?
She actually loves Married to Medicine. She just started it. And my mom, like, she'll be fussing, and then she quiets down. And my mom and my husband are like, it's not right how much this little girl loves Bravo. And we're taking all these Black women on Bravo too. So I was like,
from the mouth of the babe, you guys, you have to try into Married to Medicine and Deadlock, and I'm going to start The Gilded Age. I think that's the one that I'm going to take from you
Yeah.
because you have gotten me into it. Your mom has gotten me into it. And we want to thank you for coming on, but we're not going to make this outro too complicated because we're going to have you back on as soon as possible to talk Bravo. Okay.
Cannot wait. I cannot wait. And I watch, because of you guys and Kendrick, I actually watch all of the Marvel things. So, like, yeah, my husband was super happy when I got into Marvel, and it was because of you guys. Like, he was trying to get me to watch things forever, and then you would do a recap, and I was like, what is this Suicide Squad thing? It's like, yes.
We did this Harley Quinn.
I feel like we kind of just be talking shit, but Kendrick, he really
yeah.
down to
I literally make up things. I'm like, yes. Oh, the X-Men of DC. Yes. And I'm like, oh, Catwoman. Yes. The best movie of all time. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take it. I'm like, what's that? I'm like, what's that thing with Samuel? I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Secret Invasion. So I'm going to give you an assignment. Try to go and see The Marvels if you can. Or,
Okay.
some people would say torrent it. But, I wouldn't say that because But I'm just saying,
Disney Plus?
not yet. It just came out.
Okay. Okay, maybe we can go. Oh, she passed out.
Since she heard The Marvels and was like, bye, Mom.
I should. Okay, my love. Yeah.
But I'm seeing both of you. We will be in the DMs because we DM you all regardless. And we'll have you on literally as soon as possible. And thank you for coming. God bless you and your beautiful baby, and have a great Thanksgiving weekend. Such a great interview with someone that we've been wanting to talk to for so long. And we also got a special guest appearance. So you guys are feeling really special right now. Obviously, this is Wednesday pop culture episode, and we still want to get into a few things before we sign off. What do you want to talk about first? I know last week we were very much into catching up on everything that we didn't get to talk about because of the BravoCon craziness. This year will be, not this year, this week will be a little bit more of that. What have you been watching?
I finished The Family Business finally. I wrapped season 4. And when I say
is it 4 seasons complete?
No, it's just 4 seasons that are out right now. They're actually working on the 5th season. So we should be getting that probably at the beginning of next year is what I'm thinking. But, BET is a little bit different because you never know. Sometimes they'll just drop something and then all of a sudden, you'll see it. That's kind of how it was, and that's how I found. But, the plot in this season's plot and how they kidnapped LC, who was the main guy, and it was Larry. It was his brother who kidnapped him. And then at the end, they ended up not killing Larry. Once they found out who kidnapped LC, they rescued him, and they did not kill Larry, but I felt like he deserved to die. And also you find out because he kidnapped his brother.
Yeah, but sometimes family trip and kidnap.
Let me tell you, and the reason why he wanted to do it was because he was in this mental hospital, and he wanted his brother to feel what he felt because he felt like he was locked up. They just put him in there and they left him there, and that's actually what it was. They did do that.
See,
not to make it seem like he doesn't have his trauma and stuff, but I'm like, why are you deciding to do this right now when they're working on this side mission?
Yeah.
They kill Sasha Duncan off. That's another thing that really pissed me off.
Who plays her?
And that is KJ Smith, the girl from Sisters. And she's also going to host that Color Purple thing. If you see her, you would know who I'm talking about. But she's she's the lead in Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But she played, what's her name? I already forgot.
Me? Oh, yeah.
Sasha. And then Paris is played by Batwoman, the girl who plays Batwoman.
The scrapped Batwoman that they literally threw away for tax purposes?
Oh, they
One
canceled it?
that is actually on CW. That was.
Oh, yeah, the one that's on CW.
Oh, okay. So the one that I was referring to is the one from DC that they refused to release.
Oh, no. She's the black Batwoman. So
Okay.
she's on there as Paris Duncan. And Paris returns once Sasha gets killed off. She returns by coming to her funeral. So we get a revival from Paris. And then you find out that one of the sons, who's married to what's her name from Ambition?
Robin Given.
Not Robin Givens, but the other one
That's
like
like,
Daddy is dead.
oh,
Rondell.
I forgot her real name.
Rondell is literally on Family Business.
And the God with Real Daddy.
But Daddy is dead. I did. I was surprised.
I think it's on Stars right now, but it probably is on Real. They put it on a bunch of free and other like Black and
that shit is everywhere.
A bunch of places is streaming Ambitions. It only has one season, but it stars Robin Gibbons and it is the cat.
It is. And this show, I really think that you would get if you like the haves and the have-not.
Yeah.
And you're gonna like this show. Like the acting and how they sometimes overact. And they emphasize their curse words. Like everything about this show is so good. But at the end, you find out that one of the sons and he's supposed to be a Duncan, he's actually Lisa Ray's son. You find that out towards the end. So it's like a big scandal. And that's how they leave it. It's like a cliffhanger.
I think that you talked me because this is like your third time.
I'm telling you.
You literally let us know when they first put it on Netflix. That's how I even like saw it, was because it has to be a good show, because when it hit Netflix, it entered the top 10. And you know how hard it is to top 10 if you're not a Netflix show. Because Netflix is like me. If I own this streaming service, all of my shit's going to be in the top 10. But somehow it says Carl Weber's Film Business.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Somehow that show's in the top 10 for.
And it's in there for a reason.
Too.
It's in there for a reason. And the thing that kind of threw me off was because I'm like, with the Carl Weber stuff,
I don't know. Not familiarly.
I wasn't.
Carl Weber.
He's this author, so he writes a lot of these Black books, and they actually turn them into series sometimes. Like he has another show that's out, and I want to say it's playing now, but it's called The Black Hamptons. No, it started in 2022.
Oh,
but
right?
Maybe it's on I know it's on BET Plus.
Like they call it like did it have Black China on it?
Yes. It has Black China, Elise Neal.
Black, and then All Black is like a combination with We TV, because I remember like even anytime you watch Love After Lockup, they'll be like, it's now streaming on All Black, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's a little racist, but okay. And then I'll be watching like Mama June, and they're like, you can watch all episodes of Mama June
on All Black. And when I say they don't lie, like I literally subscribed to All Black because they had another show called A House Divided, and that was with Lisa Ray and Demetria McKinley from Housewives of Atlanta. And now, really, and Parker McKenna, who was on College Hill, the celebrity College Hill.
College Hill, she was on Tubi movie. She was Katie on.
Oh yeah, like I'm telling you. And the only thing with the Black Hamptons, I'll be honest, I gotta keep it real with y'all. I would say it's not my type of show. Like I tried to watch it. I think
it's like isn't it like there's this family, they're rich and they live in the Hamptons.
I think because it's not that it's too bougie, because the Family Business is kind of similar. But I think it's that they're trying to copy off of the Family Business's formula, and it's not the Family Business cat. Because when you get the Family Business, you get Chippy Duncan, which is the mama from Half and Half. And when I say that, she's what makes the show. But on here, we have Vanessa Bell Calloway, who I want to say she's from Coming to America. Yeah, I want to say she's the lead girl in Coming to America, one of the lead girls.
Wow, legend, honestly.
Yeah, but she's. I don't want to take away from her. She's good, but I just was.
No, you just took away with them.
Yeah, it's like 3 to 4 episodes, so it's not longevity. Like, you're not gonna get what you get from the family business. You get 4 seats with the family business.
Well, you know what? I think that the Hampton show just started not long ago. So sometimes you have to wait, you have to come back like on a 3rd season to see if it even lasts a 3rd season. Because I remember that ABC and I think that was like Fox, they both had 2 black shows last year that I was actually like watching and I was into it. I think like Morris Chestnut was on one of them. And then there was like Yaya from Yaya. It's
Yaya DaCosta.
Yeah, she was on one of them. And then they aired the season and then it was like, oh, canceled. Like,
I know which one you're talking about because I just seen something about that on Twitter earlier. And I think we were gonna watch it and then they said it was canceled.
You have to give these shows you have to wait until they get greenlit for season 3 and then that's when you start going into it
But I kind of like the formula that BET Plus is doing now, where with Carl Weber, for example, in the Black Hamptons, it's like it was renewed and the new season is going to premiere in December. I just looked it up. But they'll give you like a 3-4 episode trial. Like the first season will be 3 or 4 episodes. And then it kind of, you see what happens. You see how the audience takes it and how the audience is receiving it. Yeah, and then they'll renew it for another season. Now, with the family business, I felt like they could have did that. But with this show, it's kind of like a slow burn, so you don't really get into the meat and potatoes. It's like somebody needs to die the first episode.
Jesus, girl, right?
That's just how it has to go. Like, they need something needs to happen. Some shit needs to shake. The first episode, it has to go off. Or else people are going to, like, not really pay attention. Now, with the family business, the first episode, I was like, nah. But the second episode, I was like, okay, I'm just going to watch.
That's so rule. Like, you have to give any show 3 episodes. And was that here? No, that was on my my old podcast, Suck, which you can still find streaming, which we talked about Succession, which is now longer. Shout out to Succession. That was a good ass show. HBO, y'all did y'all motherfucking thing on that shit. But me and Jay had the theory that like it's always the 3rd episode of a season and the 8th episode where you really get story and shock and like that thing that's gonna hold you. Season finales, of course, everyone is expecting all these things to pop off in the season finale. But if you go to any series, Game of Thrones, like you can go in Succession, you can go into episode 3 and you'll see that this is like, you're going to know if you're going to like the show or not. And then episode 8 is when it's like, okay, this is really set or really like screwed something up for the show. And it really just like brings you in. So I always see it on, well, this is when it's like a 10 episode show. Some episodes are more, some series are more, some series are less, but episode 3 is always like the killer. Like, are you going to like the show or not? I always give it.
And that's fair. I'm telling you, you're going to like the show. You're going to start watching and then you're going to recognize people and you're like, oh, I know where they're from. Because a lot of these people in this show are from like our childhood shows like Half and Half,
right?
CW shows like The Game. You'll see somebody that was an extra in The Game and you're like, oh, I recognize them. So it's very random, but it's like, it's really good. The casting is good. Carl Weber is definitely doing the thing.
I like seeing his name. Like, it's not just the family business. Like, you're gonna know this
Our
Web
web family, just in case they try to remake it.
produced, shot, directed.
Yeah.
Signed.
He's like, I'm the man with the plan. I'm the man behind all of this.
When I was in school and I did the presentations, I did all the work. Yeah, K.L. Wilson fucking did it. K.L. Wilson did this slide. K.L. Wilson did the other slide. Wilson also sourced all of these from Wikipedia. But I'm so glad that you finished it because you were talking about it every week, and I kind of wanted to see when would it end or would you lose interest in it, and you didn't lose interest in it, so that shows me what a good show that it is. Because one thing about you, you'll start a show, then you'll stop it in the middle, like it's nothing.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Don't just say that and just be fine with it.
Well, it's true. It's true.
So I'm not watching anything as serious as The Family Business right now. Trust me, you guys will know because I'll probably like force you guys to watch it with me. But I told you guys after we finished Gen V that Invincible is a show that came up. And basically it's Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg. They produced a show that's based on a comic. I actually really get to know these comic book writers and producers like names, but when I see a name that I recognize, that's who I associate with, plus plays a character in the show. But Invincible is basically about, it's this boy, we meet him, he hasn't got his powers yet, but in the first episode, he gets his powers. His dad ends up being from another planet, kind of like Superman. He's the baddest bitch there is. Like, you can't do anything to him. You can't physically like hurt him. Like, he'll get beat up, but he's literally like fine 2 minutes later. So you think that, you know, his dad is a superhero because he's saving people, you know, like in the first half of the episode at least. But then at the end, I think of the first episode is when it happens, or if it's not, I'm spoiling it for you. He kills the Guardians of the Globe. He kills all of them, and they're basically like one of the groups that are protectors. And, you know, there's different people who have different powers. So he literally just goes crazy. He looks like a zombie when he's doing it. That's what so he just he seemingly blacks out, and he kills the Guardians of the Globe, like rips their head apart, burns them, like just fucks them up. And I'm just like, and they have perfect timing with this show because something will happen and they just start rolling the credit and you are sitting there with your thoughts, but then there's an after credit. And they even do like, I don't know what you call it, like a before credit scene. So the show is called Invincible. So like it'll be playing the episode and someone will be like, oh, you know, I just want to be, and then it'll be like Invincible. So everything that they say, it'll say Invincible, and then the credits start rolling, it'll say Invincible. Anyways, he beats their ass, he kills all of them. So then obviously, you know, the people who regulate the superhero people, they're left wondering what happened because he made it so he, you know, like I told you, that you can't really hurt him. He basically beat himself up to make it seem less obvious that someone killed all the Guardians of the Globe. So they find them in, I guess, like a warehouse, and they find him along with them. So he's a little sneaky bitch because he's like, oh no, and little do they know, he's the one who killed them. So he doesn't even say anything about it. So they take him home. His dad's worried. The wife is worried. And, you know, the guy, the son, he gets his powers. He's training the son. The son, obviously, he has like regular everyday teenager problems because he's in high school, about to go to college. And then he also has like, what if I'm not as good to my dad? And they're like, tell that his dad is a little bit just disgusted with him because he's not as strong as him yet. And I'm like, damn, like he just got his powers, like chill the fuck out. But long story short, they could have made this shit like 2 episodes, but whatever. I had a good time. The first season, everyone finds out that the dad killed them on purpose, and they're like, why? And he has a backstory of, well, I come from like, it starts with a K. I don't know what it's called. I don't want to say Kryptonian because I think that's just Superman. Y'all know how I am with, like, I'll literally be like, he comes from literally like, no, He comes from a different planet, and basically back in the day, all the people on the planet fought with each other, and the people who were left were the rulers of the planet because they wanted to weed out all the weak people. So all that's left on that planet are people just like the dad, who is Omni-Man. That's his name. So Omni-Man is like, yeah, so I come from a place that's like kill or be killed, and guess what? We're here on Earth, and we're gonna kill half the people on Earth, and only the strong will survive. And the boy, Mark, aka Invincible, he's like, something must have come over you. So he's trying to like shake them, like, Dad, how do I help you? This isn't you. You wouldn't say this. And the dad is like, oh no, I need it. So he's like dead ass serious. He's like, we're coming on Earth when I kill half of the people, and we're gonna take over Earth. And that is in your nature. And like the most savage thing that happens during the whole season, and that would make I would basically pass away. Heard this. They're all watching, like the mom and the people who control the superheroes, they're watching this fallout happen, and they sent someone to go and fight Omni-Man. Now they know like what his plans are, because they find out that he killed the Guardians of the Globe after doing an investigation. So that's why Mark came and confronted him. But he was like, well, what do you mean you despise humans, that humans are weak and all this shit? And he's like, don't you love Mom? Because he's lived basically 18 years of his life with the mom and a family. So he goes, I love your mother, but she's more of a pet to me. And I was like,
what the hell?
I push out your big-headed ass, superpowered son, and you call me a pet? Like, I would have had to fight him myself. I don't care. Like, I would have literally had to go and beat some ass. But she was watching it, and she was just so shocked, because she's like, this is not the person that I married. She knew that he was a superhero, but she didn't know that he was like a psycho. And then he basically like takes his son, and he like kills a bunch of people by basically like sliding him through a train, like making, because he's strong just like his dad. So he put him in front of a train, and the train split, and he was like splitting people in half. It's like very, very gory. And he's just like, I'm going to make you kill all these people until you agree to take over this planet with me. And he like beats up his son, tries to beat him into submission, and tries to show him like he's not going to stop until, he agrees to do it. This is on Amazon Prime, you guys. And he asks him, he's like, in 500 years, what are you going to have? And he's like, I'll have you. And I guess that appealed to not his human side, because he clearly is not human at all, but it appealed to him as a father in general. And he just flies off. We don't know where the fuck he went, maybe back to his home planet, maybe somewhere else. But that's how the first season ends, is like he finds out that his dad is terrible, and he sees his mom as a pet, and he thinks that all humans are weak, and that he's half whatever these people are. That shit's so good. So right now, the second season is out. I think it comes out.
Right.
We're on an episode where he goes to college, and he finally has a girl with his dreams. He finally told her that he's a superhero. And guess what? She's played by Sassy B from
yeah.
Depending on where you know her from. The voice acting in it is amazing, because it's a bunch of people that and obviously Seth Rogen plays this guy called Alan the Alien. It's hilarious. And on the third episode, at the very, very end, you guys, Mark basically is called on a very special mission, because he didn't want to join like a superhero group, but he did want to just help out and be a superhero. So they're like, okay, we need someone to go to space and, help us with the mission. There's people that are in need. There's like 46 billion people that need your help. So he's like, okay, like I'll go and I'll help. We find out that it's his dad that summoned him. And that's like the end of the episode. And when I cannot wait to see what happened. It's called Invincible. You guys check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. There's a new episode every Friday. And it's very cool. And hopefully after they like air this season, they tell us exactly when The Boys is coming back, because all this stuff, like Gen V, The Boys, and Invincible.
Yeah.
It's making me crave like more. And there's nothing coming out anytime soon because I just saw the Marvels. Loki just ended. The next thing I think we have is Echo. So right now, since it's the holiday season, I'm rewatching Hawkeye, which could be considered like a holiday
Right.
set around Christmas. I'm watching Hawkeye, so you guys can watch that. And yeah, so it's a good time, you guys. I didn't think that I would ever be interested in these things, but my tastes have changed a lot since the pandemic when it comes to the kind of shows that I'll watch.
I was surprised too because I know you don't like gore. Like you don't like a lot of blood and all that stuff.
I don't. That's why when I was forced to watch The Boys, I was like, "What the fuck made this show?" But then it was just so funny. So then I'm like, if I can sit through The Boys, then I can sit through gory things. I just can't sit through scary things because that's how I've been in scary movies too. Like you can give me Halloween, Scream, and all that stuff. I can do that. But if you put me Paranormal Activity and like that's
This that he is.
yeah.
It's not too much. Or what was it? Red. What was that movie that just came out last year?
I'm not watching that. That's
Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. Yeah.
Now that was something else. That whole movie, I'm like, oh my god.
Are they making a sequel?
I think I did hear something about that.
I know that
I can't imagine how it would be maybe they're actually gonna do a prequel. That's what I would assume because they did have something that happened at the beginning. So it's like I was kind of interested in it. So I'm like, hopefully they go back to like wrap that up and explain because it was just too much.
Even hearing about it, I had to pray after. I was like,
And I can really sit through anything, but that I was like, this is just a lot.
it's weird though. The fact that like we used to, me and Pauline used to try to get you to watch Sabrina, and you were like, "This is," and I'm like, "Sabrina, please."
Because it's just a whole bunch of witchcraft and sorcery.
But
like,
Dead Rise was a bunch of dead.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know. I think it was just the talk. And Sabrina wasn't even gory, but it was just like the vibe.
Just summoning demons.
Yeah.
Going to hell. And my boyfriend is thinking.
Like it was her in the forest, like in the middle with that sign on the ground, and then like it was just too much. And then the book started opening. I'm like, close them.
No, yeah. Like when I see a bunch of pentagrams, I'm like, okay, this will be later.
Turn that off.
Not in here.
Don't do that. Don't let those spirits in here.
Okay, well, just ending this episode, we just want to wish you guys a good Turkey Day. We want you to watch a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about. One of my traditions, like whether it's either Thanksgiving or Christmas, is literally to go to the movies. So you guys should go to the movies if you have nothing else to do. Like if you guys aren't cooking, if you don't have anyone's house to go to, or if you want to pass time until it's time to eat the turkey, you should go to the movies because, what do you call it? The Songbirds, is out, which is the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games, like prequel. And I heard that was actually, I don't know, Samaj told me that it wasn't really that good a prequel, but that's something to watch. Also, if you have any like younger people that are going with you, the new Trolls movie is out.
I kind of want to see it, not gonna lie.
I want to see it, but I don't want to pay for my seat.
Isn't that the one with the family? And she's like, yeah, my cousin. Like the fact that they've been advertising that forever too, because that came out like they were showing that.
It was like Trolls, and it was Trolls World Tour. And then they did the promo for this one immediately, yeah. Like,
Oh, okay. That's what I was talking. I was talking about World Tour because she's like, we're gonna go on the tour together and do a concert, and you're my cousin, and I'm like,
I'm really more of a Hotel Transylvania girl. But yeah, so obviously have a good time, eat a lot. We love you so much. We want you to DM us. Let us know what y'all eating and who's cooking. Let us know who burnt the mac and cheese. Also, if your family argues, the rules of this podcast is you must go live. Go
yeah,
and tag us because we want to see it.
please.
Again, I want to say if your family is arguing on Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving, please go live and tag us. We will watch. But we love you. Bye.
Bye, y'all.